Good evening, everyone. This is Greg Machos of Greg's Weather Center here in South Plainfield, New Jersey, located in the northwest corner of Middlesex County, approximately 35 miles to the south-southwest of New York City. And it is Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. The time is 7:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And the current conditions at GWC in South Plainfield, the temperature is 74 degrees. The humidity is 45%. The dew point is 51. The barometer is falling at 29.50 inches of mercury, or if you're on the metric scale, that's 999 millibars. Winds right now are calm, but they have been breezy throughout the day and particularly late this afternoon. And we have not gotten any rain today. Now, if we look at the almanac, for today here at GWC. The high temperature for today was 79 degrees, and that was at 5:02 p.m. The low temperature was 48 degrees, and that was at 6:13 a.m. The diurnal temperature range, that was the difference between the low and the high, was 31 degrees. The rate of temperature increase from the low to the high was 2.87 degrees per hour. The humidity has been an interesting subject as of the last few days. Peak humidity level was 63% at 1:06 a.m. this morning, and the lowest humidity was 22% at 1:07 p.m. This afternoon. So within a span of about 12 hours, the humidity fell about 41%. And that's giving you an indication how dry it is, and that's going to be a subject of what we're going to be talking about a little bit regarding the fire danger level here in the Garden State. The highest pressure today was 29.95 inches of mercury, and that was at 12:07 a.m. this morning. And the lowest pressure is where it's currently at 29.50. The pressure fall has been about 45 hundredths of an inch, or 15 millibars over the last 19 hours or so. And that's roughly about 0.8 of a millibar per hour drop. Again, there's been no rainfall today, and so far this month there's only been 1.10 inches of rain. The last measurable rainfall that we got was 5 hundredths of an inch on May the 4th. So that means we haven't had any measurable rain in about the last 12 days or so. Sunrise was at 5:40 a.m. this morning, and the sunset is going to be at 8:08 p.m. So we are just about 21 minutes away from sunset here in South Plainfield. Currently, if we look at the temperatures around the region, over on the south side of South Plainfield, the temperature is at 77 degrees. Wardwell Hartridge over in North Edison is at 76 degrees. Another location, another part of Edison, is at 78 degrees. The temperature at Watchung Mountaintop over in northern Somerset County is at 75 degrees. The temperature in Metuchen is at 76. Temperature over at Greenbrook Mountain, that's the shares the low for the area at the moment, is at 74 degrees, and Greenbrook Mountain again is in northern Somerset County. Piscataway is at 77 degrees. Woodbridge is at 77 degrees. Long Hill, which is in Morris County, near Chatham and Gillette, and near the Passaic River, is at 74 degrees. That shares the low temperature with Greenbrook Mountain at the moment. And over in Colonia section of Woodbridge Township, it's at 78. Warren is at 76 degrees. That's also in northern Somerset County near Watchung Mountain. Sayreville is at 77 degrees. South Amboy is at 78 degrees. And Perth Amboy is also at 77 degrees. Now, as we mentioned earlier briefly, we got a little bit of a issue with the fire danger here in Middlesex County. There is an elevated fire risk in North Jersey. We've had very dry humidity levels, and as you can see, the winds have been picking up a little bit. But as we noted earlier, we had very arid conditions today. Very nice spring day if you're outside. Great day to go for a walk or participate in any outdoor activities. But as far as the trees and the brush and the grass, it's not really a good thing. We need the water. And again, we've only had a little bit over an inch of rain so far, and we're halfway through the month. And keep in mind, we were pretty dry for much of April as well, except for the last couple days. We had the bulk of the rainfall from that weather 1-2 punch that we had at the very end of the month going into the beginning of this month, and that's where the most of that rain came from for the beginning of the month. So we probably got about 95% of our rain for the month on the first day of May and the first few hours of May. So again, we have to keep an eye on the conditions over the next day or so as we continue to have dry conditions along with breezy conditions, and that is definitely a brew for potential fire hazards around the area. Meanwhile, hurricane season 2023 is now underway in the Eastern Pacific. For those of you who don't know, the Eastern Pacific hurricane season, or the Eastern Northern Pacific hurricane season, runs from May 15th to November 30th each year. The Atlantic hurricane season, meanwhile, it starts on June 1st. It also goes to November 30th. The hurricane season is coming up. We're less than 2 weeks away. And it looks like we're going to have somewhere around a normal or average hurricane season. It doesn't look to be above average. A lot of that has to do with the El Nino that is forecast to develop this year. And it's supposed to be, from what some experts say, should be one of the stronger El Ninos that we have had. And usually when you have a strong El Nino, usually that means hostile weather conditions for tropical development in the Atlantic. But keep in mind, last year we had a La Nina year going into maybe a neutral cycle, a neutral phase, and it wound up being where we had some pretty strong numbers, especially from September on into early November. We had a very active period, and that was after we had a period of just about 2 months where we had no named storms whatsoever. Remember, it was pretty dry for a good chunk of the summer here in New Jersey as well, and New Jersey usually gets above average rainfall during the La Nina season. So let's keep that in mind. And remember, it only takes one storm to make a difference, especially if that storm does make landfall as a very powerful hurricane, a Category 3 or higher on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Now, what does that mean as far as Category 3 or higher on the Saffir-Simpson scale? Well, the Saffir-Simpson scale measures the intensity of hurricanes from 1 to 5, and anything that is a Category 3 or higher is considered a major hurricane. And usually that means major hurricanes have winds of about 111 miles per hour at least, and maybe as high as 160 miles per hour. So those are definitely the storms you want to look out for. Those are usually your classic Cape Verde storms that usually form off the west coast of Africa in the far eastern Atlantic. Now, as far as tropical activity, there is none to speak of at the moment, although the National Hurricane Center did issue its first tropical weather outlook of the year on Monday to coincide with the ramp up to the 2023 season. Meanwhile, in the Indian Ocean, we have a cyclone that made landfall in the Bay of Bengal region. Cyclone Mocha struck Myanmar over the weekend and also spread in portions of Bangladesh. So that's it for now. If we have any other updates, we'll bring them to you. But for now, this is Greg Macho signing off for Greg's Weather Center here in South Plainfield. Have a good evening.